You guys ready?
Yep.
That one set basketball back quite a few years. I want to say 50, but it was more like 80, 90 maybe. Is there a peach basket out there? Ugly game, but you know what? It is what it is. I felt like we played well in the half court defensively. Their stuff is not easy to guard. They do a ton of different things. I mean, they made Wyoming look really bad defensively, and Wyoming is a very, very good defensive team. Thought we did a really good job against their stuff. We just got to get better. I mean, we shoot 29% and find a way to win, and you got to give our guys credit for that. You know, we made free throws down the stretch. We executed our stuff. We really got to the rim, especially late in the game. Brandon sparked us early in the second half with those 3 threes, essentially on back-to-back possessions or close to that, to separate. And I felt like we had controlled the whole game. You know, I don't know. I just felt confident we were going to find a way to win. Certainly when they tie it, you know, and we had one last shot, you're going to get it to the guy that can really go make a play, and Brandon can. We missed 22 shots at the rim, 16 in the first half. And it gets to like Dual Mayotte misses a shot. I mean, literally, you know, my third grader Carson would have made it. You know, every one of you guys would have made it. But it's how it goes. You know, he hasn't played a lot. Maybe you get happy feet. We do finish drills daily, every day. In particular, in the last about 10 days, we've really, because it's been an issue. So we got to figure that out. But it's ugly. We've been on the other side of this thing plenty of times this year. And so I'm proud of our guys that we were able to get some stops late and execute down the stretch and find a way to win.
The last 2 games, you played 2 different types of defenses.
Yeah.
I mean, complete polar opposites in terms of personnel, how they attack on offense. And you struggle in both games.
Yeah.
Would you assess that as being what they're doing or what you're not doing to counteract what they're doing?
I think it's both. You know, Creighton, we played exceptional. I thought we really, really shared it and drove closeouts and did our stuff. UNLV, we really struggled with their length and their athleticism. And sometimes when you play a team as athletic as that, and when you're running motion, sometimes you get a little sticky and you start trying to play one-on-one, and so I kind of chalked it up to that. Now after tonight, you know, we really got to go back. We got to really clean up our offense, doing some different motion building drills that we do that we just haven't done a ton of because I feel like we've been playing nonstop. But teams are going to game plan for us and do different things. But we certainly have to tighten things up and be able to do some, you know, play with different alignments in terms of our motion. So right now we've really been spacing it high and wide. You know, I think we need to look at some things, what we call power, and some different things like triangle, just to give guys different looks, you know, if that makes sense. So we're going to practice tomorrow. We're going to practice on Saturday, and that'll be a major focal point, is just tightening up our motion.
Brandon also mentioned they grind you. And if you notice, like in the game, a lot of your trigger shots, you know, when you got open, you had time.
Yeah.
And when you went to the rim, you had space. But to get those shots, you had to grind a little bit to get there. Do you think once they got open, it was just maybe exhaustion to some degree? Or
maybe, but I mean, you know, we've been really, certainly Kasserbauer, Boss, and Larson, we've been playing a ton of minutes. And we've been very conscientious of, it's a fine line. You don't want to go soft on them, but you also got to rest them, you know, because those guys are going to get heavy minutes. But we got to play stronger at the rim. We got to play off of 2 feet. We got to get our weight inside. You know, they did a good job. 34. I don't know. Is it Robinson? Is it Robinson? It was interesting. They put him on Brandon, and Brandon would get a half a step on him over and over and over again. But then he just, you know, that guy would really chat, and it was a physical game, and that's fine. You know, we don't care if it's a finesse game or a physical game. Like, our goal is to, people ask us what our style of play is, and we say it's the winning style. So some nights it's, you know, 91 to 89 or 88, whatever it was against Creighton, and tonight it's 55-53. You got to do whatever it takes to win. But Brandon, he's gotten a lot better at it, playing off of 2 feet. Like when I watched video last year, there was a lot of driving, one-footed, throw it up and hope it goes in. He still gets to that at times, but he's done a way better job of playing off of 2 feet. And I just think that's a big part of it, is like getting your eyes up on your target, not wishing and hoping, and playing strong. And if it's not there and it's contested, kick it up to the next guy and go to work. But I mean, Hunter had a couple just miserable decisions. I thought Trey Burnett had 2 or 3 finishes that, like, why are you shooting that? And he's 0 for 7 in the first half. You can go right down the line, right? Tyler Larson forced it early, I felt like. He had 3 turnovers in the first half, didn't turn it over in the second half. It just felt like we were forcing everything. And then one more thing with that, I know I'm a run-on sentence here, but the last thing with that, one crazy stat of theirs is their opponents have made more free throws on the year than Montana State has even attempted. So we showed a lot of clip tape where their teams just drive them, and they're late to help, and they're, you know what I'm saying? So I think our guys were maybe a little locked in on that too. Just drive it and draw the contact, and it'll be called, And again, the refs did a great job. They were consistent. It was physical basketball, but we got to adapt.
Take us through the last sequence. You didn't have any timeouts left, and you just kind of told Brandon to.
Actually, we did have timeouts left, but it's funny, and it's all a learning curve for all of our guys. Fairfield, it was a tie game, and we get a stop, and we tied it up. We called timeout to use our last timeout, and we told our guys, get 1 stop, and we're just going to blow it up the floor. I take that back. We did have one left. We're going to get the stop. We're going to blow it up the floor. We're going to look to make a play. Well, Brandon gets the rebound, calls timeout. And as soon as he did, he just went like this, because we always want to break it up and just it's open court. This is a little different. We didn't want to call timeout and let them have a chance to discuss with their guys what we could run, set up their defense, right, any of that stuff. So we just took our time, walked it up. We were going to run just motion. I'm like, you know what? You got to run special plays for special players. And we called a set that's been pretty good to us. And we were going to get it in Brandon's hand. Brandon can get a shot off anytime. And I didn't think he'd probably get to the rim unless it was a no-brainer. But he's got such a good pull-up game. And in that scenario, when you shoot a pull-up, I've seen it both ways. Sometimes you get to the rim, the refs follow their whistle. It was a physical game, so you knew they probably weren't going to call anything. So, and he can get that little pull-up almost any time on that set. So he really stepped into it, drove his feet into the ground. He gets in the habit sometimes of twisting. And when he starts twisting all over, he can make it, but he can miss it. He just drove his feet in the ground, made the shot. It was a little scary, though, because they run that last play, and we botched it about every which way we could. And, we had the right line. Colbert felt like he was making every shot. In the line from our angle, you guys had it from press row. That thing left his hand, and you're just like,
it was right there.
It was right. It looked like it was going in. But one thing we've done down the stretch of games is execute. We really have. Whether we're up or down, with the exception of UNLV, I thought we've really executed throughout the season and late in games. Our guys have been on the same page and played fearless.
So do you have a guy that counts shots missed at the rim, or is that something you just remembered?
We don't normally, but since starting about 5 games ago we started. But we do because, it's so much just mental time. Certainly there's a technique to it and a skill to it. We tell our guys you got to get at least 60% of your weight inside. You shouldn't be, right? If you're squared up and they just bump you at all, like we tell our guys defensively, foul with your chest. So, and 34 was fouling with his chest, right? Which is a legal play. It's not like there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's big boy basketball. We are in a mid-major conference. And so you got to show your hands, foul with your chest. And, but you got to deliver the blow. You got to be able to play in balance. We don't always play in balance very well. Burnett's all over. At times he does, at times he doesn't. Tyler's really figured out how to play in balance, even though he missed a couple chip shots, in that first half. Made some big ones late. And he had another, he didn't shoot it well from the field, 2 for 9, but he still gets, 8 for 10 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 36 minutes. He's fighting, he's sicker than a dog. And he just, I took him at halftime because UNLV didn't look himself physically, didn't have the You know, he's always got like this, you know, and he didn't have that look today. He just was kind of, and I pulled him out. All the coaches went out, all the players went out, you know, when we left, and like, Tyler, what's going on? And he said, you don't look yourself. He goes, I'm fine. Like, he'll never make an excuse, ever. You know, Tyler, what's going on? You don't just be level, you know, be straight up with me. Coach, I'm good. And I'm like, Tyler, like, you know, then it becomes a father-son thing. Like, you're telling me, you know, or you're not going to start the second half, you know? Then he told me. No, I'm kidding. But, like, then he just was like, Coach, I'm sick. I'm not. And if you look at him, I mean, you can just see it. And he goes, Coach, I'm there for you. You know, like, Tyler, I know you're there. You're there for the team. You're there for, you know, like, that isn't the, but you just got to be straight. Like, if we need to rest you, you know, at a media timeout for an extra just to get you and then get back, we got to do what we got to do, but we got to know what's going on, too. And that's not an excuse, and Tyler would be sick to his stomach if he knew I was saying this. But he's just a warrior. And he made some huge plays down the stretch.
Point of clarification, though, on the 22 at the rim, you're talking not a bunny. You're talking when they're launching and going chin to the rim, going in for a layup, or are you talking bunnies?
On what part?
22 missed at the rim. You're talking
I'm
this
talking
to the rim, or are you talking bunnies?
Just anything in the rim.
So
Is
anything.
like when we're finishing, I'm sure he counted, I mean, I'm sure he probably counted Hunter's, you know, I don't know, what do you want to call it, where he tried to make a post move like on the, you know, right in here.
Mm-hmm.
Burnett missed a couple. I wouldn't count as layups, but there were shots right in that vicinity where it's like, I mean, you got to make that shot, right? I mean, you know, and so we have to do a better job of finishing. Because if we finish, I mean, and they could say the same thing, right? I mean, how many shots they missed at the rim in the first half? I mean, it was crazy.
One or two more guys?
Definitely not